everybody, and welcome to the It's and Queens podcast covering events in the borough January 25th to January 31st. The last week of January.
Feels like we just Happy
Feels
New
like we
Year
just
the
said
other
Happy
day.
New Year. I tell you, we're almost out of this winter.
Almost.
In one more month, and then March, hopefully it'll start getting
The
better.
Ides of March.
Well, hopefully it'll be warm by the Ides of March.
I hope
but
so.
You never know.
Every once in a while, you get a St. Patrick's Day where it's just a sweatshirt, but then you also
do
get
it, yeah. You
St.
do get
Patrick's Day in a full winter.
Yeah, sometimes you get St. Patrick's Day in a snowstorm,
That's
in a
right.
wet, cold snowstorm. But
Yeah.
anyway, what we have on this...
We're talking about January. What am I talking about? March now?
Yeah, we've got some interesting stuff coming up this week, and not all of it is inside, believe it or not.
I can't believe it.
As we talk
You'll
to
fill
you
me in.
here, it's about 14 degrees outside.
We're completely dressed appropriate for the weather.
We are dressed appropriately as always. And while we're on the subject of us. Our favorite subject,
Yeah,
I'm Rob Mackay from the Queens Tourism Council, and that would make you
Chris Donovan.
Chris Donovan from the Daily News,
Yeah.
our co-producer.
Yep.
So why don't we start with something near and dear to both of our hearts? And what near to your heart than your stomach,
They
right?
are so close. They're so close to each other.
Queen's Dinner Club.
Especially when you're a man of my size.
The Queen's Dinner Club. You are familiar with the Queen's Dinner Club,
Yeah,
right?
we have, like I said, our most famous podcast guest, Joe DeStefano.
Joe DeStefano is one of
the members, one of the founding members. Yeah.
Yep.
But he doesn't do it alone.
You've never been on a Queen's Dinner Club outing,
Listen,
have you?
the last thing I want to do is embarrass myself by not being down with the adventurous eating of people
okay.
around me, and my palate's just not that expansive. I keep it very simple.
Oh, do you? I didn't know that. I thought you were an adventurous eater.
I do. I go adventurous, but I have to do my first time out.
You have to smother it in ketchup.
My first time out, I like to be alone. So if I don't like it or if I don't.
Oh, really?
Interesting.
Interesting.
Because
all right.
I don't want to be the guy who tastes. Everyone's enjoying it, and
And you're
I'm
wondering what happened.
dying or
Oh,
something
okay.
like that, yeah.
Well, anyway, the Queen's Dinner Club. I would put it at about 2 years old now.
Yeah.
They meet every month, and what they do is they basically take over a restaurant. So
owners are happy, yeah.
And so everyone pays one price,
Right.
and you go to it's a nice thing because you get a whole bunch of different kinds of food that the restaurant offers, and you hang out with the restaurant owner, and you can talk about everything that
you get
they're
their
eating.
background, you get their inspiration,
You get to meet more. Some of these restaurant owners in Queens are pretty fascinating.
They really are.
Yeah.
They're a reality show upon themselves.
Exactly. So they've been to. I mean, they were at a Georgian, as in Georgia,
Like Russia, Georgia.
Georgia
Atlanta, 'cause
restaurant,
that would be
right?
hardly
They
exotic.
They did the Tangra. They did the Indian Chinese fusion.
Oh yeah.
And this time they're actually doing Nepali food. I'm not sure if it's Nepali food or Nepalese food. I would call it Nepalese food.
Okay.
And they're doing a Nepali BBQ at a brand new restaurant that opened up 4316 Queens Boulevard, Sunnyside.
Right in your hood.
Right on the corner of 43rd. It's called Bajenko Sekua, if I'm pronouncing it right.
Mm-hmm.
But this night, which is the 28th, if you were to attend.
January 28th, which is what?
Today's the 21st. Today's Martin Luther King Day.
So
it's a
Monday,
week from
next Monday.
Next Monday.
Okay.
You would get, and it's a dinner club. It's not an exclusive club. You don't have to go through a
rigorous
background
check.
Whatever they call it in fraternities, a rush. You
Oh,
don't have to rush it. Anyone can go. The menu includes tangy shredded goat with the house masala, crunchy soybeans with ginger, garlic, green chilies, and lemon, gizzards with onions and green chilies, pan-fried tomatoes with ginger, garlic, and cumin, and deep-fried eggplant in ginger garlic curry.
All right.
So Nepalese food, as you know,
I didn't see any
sure.
pulled pork there for the barbecue.
I don't know if they have much pork in Nepal. They have yak.
Yes, they do.
They have yak. I'm surprised yak's not on the menu. Maybe it is. It's just it's one of the other items.
I want to open up a yak restaurant called Yakety Yak. Please come back.
Well,
What do you think?
Well, the thing about yak restaurants is that you have to get the meat from Nepal.
Oh, yeah, it might be a problem. All right.
Yeah, it's probably. I mean,
Business-
unless there's some kind of a
business
yak
squashed.
farm someplace
Right,
like
right.
near Buffalo or
Yeah.
something like that.
I would
Yak
think.
near Buffalo.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah.
Anyway, if anyone wants to do that, please, it's the Queen's Dinner Club, and
Very
it's,
cool thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you're if you want to eat a lot of good food and be around other people who love food, I would say Queen's Dinner Club is for you.
It's the place to be.
We have 2 events at Flushing Town Hall and 2 at Museum of Moving Image, which I kind of felt are newsworthy.
Yeah.
The movie Burning. So at the Cannes Film Festival, one of the new revelation, the hot thing this past summer, was a Korean movie called Burning.
Okay.
So it's obviously in Korean with English subtitles, but it's an aspiring writer meets an old friend from grammar school who's a woman who's doing well, and she's about to go on vacation. She goes to Africa for a long time, and he cat sits, and then he babysits the cat.
Oh, cat
looks after
sits,
the
okay.
cat. She comes back with this wealthy, debonair. What do you call crazy people who are wealthy?
Eccentric.
Yeah. Okay, eccentric guy, and apparently the tension just grows and grows, and the things and I guess hilarity ensues. But they're showing it 4 times this weekend. That's the 25th and the 26th.
That's good. We have
Saturday
a
and
big Korean,
Sunday.
population in Queens. They should head on down
They,
check that out.
They
But it's
might
for
want to go,
anybody, right?
but yeah, I mean, I've only seen the stills and I've only read what I've read about it. But
It's something that's intriguing you.
It's intriguing to me
Yeah.
just because it was like the hit at Cannes. This
Oh,
past
okay,
summer,
yeah,
so-
Cannes Film Festival, sure.
Yeah. Keeping it actually in Museum of the Moving Image, you know what the other thing I kind of wanted to see is they will be showing a documentary on Maria Callas.
Oh, the opera singer.
Yes, the opera singer, and you might want to, since Museum of the Moving Image is located in Astoria, the Greek opera singer, Maria
I
Callas.
should signify that, yep.
And personally, I'm trying to get into opera a little bit.
I saw a lot of that trailer. And
Oh,
it looked-
you did?
Yeah,
You
it
seen
looked
that trailer?
fascinating. It was
Yeah.
played at a different movie that I went to see.
Oh, okay.
I don't remember what it was, but I saw the stills and some of the scenes, and she looked very interesting, and the movie itself looked like very intriguing.
And apparently, it splices interviews, diary entries, memoirs, and performances, so
Right.
you can actually see her perform.
Right, and that's the big piece, right? I mean, she was
Yeah.
a powerhouse. So
Yeah, that's sort of, and I, ever since we had that Queen's Opera, Queen's actually has a theater company now. We had them on our show.
That's right.
And ever since that, I've been trying to get into opera, and I've been listening to it, and it's actually pretty
quite
impressive.
moving. Yeah.
Those guys
the
have real
vocal
talent.
gymnastics
real
involved.
talent.
I mean, come
Real
on.
talent.
I can't even pull off a karaoke night in a bar at 3 a.m. These guys are singing arias.
That's true. So those are the 2 things that the moving image that I thought I would see both of those movies happily.
definitely.
The Maria Callas one, there are 2 showings on January 27th.
Okay.
Which is the Sunday, right?
Sunday, yep.
So 3 and
No
6.
football this Sunday. No excuse.
There's no
no
NFL.
excuse.
There's no Super Bowl.
Well, it's the February 3rd.
Oh, it's because
so,
they
yeah.
skip
They
a week.
skip a week, yeah.
You have to have that week of hype that they always
That's
have
right,
before the
that's
Super
right.
Bowl. Extra week of hype.
We should get someone to do like a week
yeah.
of hype around the show, just like walk around Queens. And stuff. Have you listened to the podcast, man? It's amazing.
Do you think we could get we
get
had
a
kind of a
hype man.
media day like they have in the NFL?
Well, Terrence Ackman's a perfect hype person.
The other thing I wanted to talk about was Flushing Town Hall, which has 2 cool things, but they're also kicking off their season, and they're actually just
And they got
kicking
Lunar
off-
New Year celebrations going,
Yes,
right? I mean, it's like
they're kicking off just the first 6-month season.
right.
Has 72 performances.
That's
72
amazing.
separate events, I should say. They're not all performances.
I mean, I can't imagine.
That's crazy. They're
Yeah.
the hardest
That's-
working people over there. I
They
mean,
don't
they've-
stop.
That means
Won't
that
stop.
they're
Can't stop.
That means that they're in 6 months, 72. You can do the math on that.
Yeah, so then in 12 months, they'll have 197. I believe that checks out.
Something like that. Are you a product of the Queens public school system?
I am.
All right, very good. But their opening night, they're having a group called Talavia, and they're doing something called Tabla Ecstasy. Now, Do you like the tabla, the Indian tabla?
Oh, that drum thing? Yeah. You got to
So
break it down to the stupid people's level.
These guys, the tablas are they're about as good as they come.
But they use their hand too, right?
But they keep the whole. The word is either resonance or they also call it sustaining, keeping the sound going.
Yeah.
But these are three guys, and one of them actually is a white dude from New Jersey who moved to India. These guys are coming from India. White dude, just enthralled by it all, got a guru, and he plays with the other two, and they are. You talk about like fast fingers that are, and they're giving a concert on the Friday, the 25th.
Right.
The next night is sort of like their all day opening, and they have a cumbia group. Now, are you familiar with cumbia?
Yes,
it's one of my favorite music. Really?
You made me a mixed CD. Remember?
And I don't remember that. I don't know. I think the 14-degree weather is getting to you. Anyway, cumbia is a Colombian rhythm, which is basically, in its essence, just imagine slaves taken from Africa meeting indigenous people in Colombia. It has the percussion. It has Africa percussion with the flute work of the native people, indigenous tribes. Yeah. Of course, it's changed over the years.
Right, it's evolved.
But it's still cumbia does not really have like the Spanish guitar or anything like that.
String section.
It's really kind of those
rhythms
two things. And this
horn
group.
Section?
Well, they have wind stuff. Yeah,
wind, okay.
Yeah, they would have. I mean, it depends from day to day,
okay.
but the rhythms actually date from that fusion,
right?
Which is totally cool. And a group called N.A.Y.E. because that's New York. N.A.Y.E. La Cumbiamba N.A.Y.E. will be at Flushing Town Hall all day on Saturday, the 26th.
Nice.
It's a 10-piece band. They will be doing a workshop at 3,
right?
Family concert at 4, and then they're going to jam at 5:30.
Wow.
So that's another thing that would be great. That's the 26th. Oh, so you can go see Burning on the 25th, Cumbia the 27th, and then you watch the movie on the 27th, and you're all set.
I think you have a great weekend right there.
I think you have a great weekend. Keeping along with that rhythm, Cuban music. It's another African-based music. It's
Absolutely.
actually the Yoruba in what's modern day Nigeria. Most Yorubas were actually the ones who were in Cuba. And Cuban music, Cuban salsa, the percussion is almost exactly the same as the Yoruba to this day in Nigeria.
No kidding.
It's very similar, yeah.
Look at you with your world music knowledge.
There's the Havana Cuba All-Stars. Havana Cuba All-Stars will be giving a concert.
Yeah.
And again, this is the rhythm and melodies of Cuba, which includes all of the salsa that we know, rumba that we know, son montuno, if you heard of that, and you've heard of cha-cha-cha.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
So my frame of reference is the Buena Vista Social Club.
Yeah, it'll be a little different. There's more dance music, more heavy on the percussion, but some of that is a lot of the Buena Vista Social Club is actually boleros, right? A lot of it is like the romantic slow music.
Yeah.
Anyway,
you know me, I'm a romantic.
You're a romantic. The crazy thing about this is that it's actually at the Lexington Center.
Okay.
And who knew, but the Lexington Center has a theater, a performance space.
I don't think I've ever been
I
there.
never knew that all this time either. It's, QPAC, the Queensborough Performing Arts Center, is actually the organizer, but they're the host.
So the Lexington School for the Deaf you're talking about.
The Lexington School for the Deaf in East Elmhurst, Jackson Heights.
That's where I learned how to swim. I told you that, right?
Yeah, they have a pool there. Yeah, you told me that. So they have a theater. It's called the Ralph and Ricky Lauren Theater.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know if that's the same Loren as in Ralph Lauren, but the
Ralph
Lorens
and Ricky Lauren
aren't they originally from Corona, Queens?
I don't know.
So
I used to buy Ralph Lauren knockoffs in Corona.
Right. So anyway, they have a theater at the Lexington School for the Blind.
Wow, deaf.
For the deaf. I'm sorry. So that's kind of I'd almost go just for that.
That's right. Just to see that theater. Yeah, I haven't been in there.
Then the other stuff we have, which I included on the list, e-waste recycling.
Oh, listen, I think there's probably everybody listening to this podcast probably has either a laptop or a tablet or a phone that they don't use anymore.
In fact, if you're listening to this podcast, you probably have something that could be, probably have e-waste that could be recycled.
Yeah, so don't throw it in the garbage. Take it to the Queens Botanical Garden. That's all.
And it's not entertainment, but I still want to include it. You can take it to the Queens between 10 and 4 on the 27th. You can take it to the Queens Botanical Gardens parking lot.
Let's leave this planet in better shape than we found it.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. The thing is that a lot of these electronics
disintegrate. They don't
Right.
ever go away.
And some
They'll
of
be in
them
a
have
landfill
lead
forever.
and other stuff that can get into the
seep
water.
into the
Yeah.
soil and get into the
These
groundwater.
guys, so they hired someone who knows how to. I guess the term would be dispose of it in an environmentally proper way or
Manner.
something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
So that's kind of fun. I mean, not kind of fun, but it's worth it.
It's
if you
worth
can do
it.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
you
Get
can
over
do
there
it.
and drop off some old electronics.
And then we also have a movie called Queen. The Astoria Performing Arts Center.
APAC.
If you watched last week's podcast with Taryn Sacramone,
That's right.
who's
That's
now
where
the head of the Queen's Theater. She was at the
Started at
Astoria
APAC.
Performing Arts Center before that. So they're putting on a play, and they're actually putting it on at the Astoria Variety Boys and Girls Club because they have a black box theater.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, little known thing. And this is a play called Queen, and it is about two female scientists who have spent their whole professional careers studying the bee populations, the vanishing bee populations. And they have this great paper, this great study that they're about to present, and one of them finds out that there's a mistake in it.
Yikes.
Yep, and then-
Ethics.
so
Morality.
So you're talking about, this is their whole life, but it's also their reputation, it's their career, and for them, it's their friendship. So if you want to find out what happens, this play is running from January 31st to February 16th. So
Oh,
actually
see if we
there's
got a couple
long
chances,
run.
yeah.
Yeah. Thursdays and Fridays at 8, and Saturdays at 2 and 8. So there are a lot of different shows.
That's right.
Starting the January 31st and running until February 16th.
All right.
That is just about it. But I'm sure that I've forgotten something.
We got one crisp
I'm equally
pick.
sure that you will tell me.
One crisp pick for this week.
Okay.
This week, I know the Lunar New Year celebrations are coming up next week. We'll probably get into those, right?
Yeah, I guess, when are they?
February, first week in February-ish,
Yeah.
right?
The Lunar New Year, does it change because it's a lunar calendar?
It has to be a lunar calendar, but it seems to be in February.
They're coming up they're definitely coming up.
Anyway,
Yeah.
that's just it reminded me that Resorts World, a good friend to the show, on January 26th, it has nothing to do with Lunar New Year, by the way, but they just put up a Lunar New Year decoration, so that's what
okay.
reminded me.
Okay.
So on January 26th, they're doing a freestyle night. You know what freestyle music is?
Rapping?
No, rapping. I mean, there could be a little rap breakdown. It's a very fast beat dance music, not quite as fast as EDM, but faster than disco. So somewhere in between. It was big, I think, in the late 80s, early 90s. A lot of artists came out of it. So they're having 8 of the very big artists from the freestyle movement from back then. Yeah, so George Lamond, Judy Torres, Noel, and Cynthia, who are very big names in that genre.
The first one sounds familiar.
Yeah, George Lamond. Yeah, he's got a couple of hits, and so does Judy Torres too. But I've had friends go to these shows. If you're a freestyle person, this is your heaven.
This is your nirvana.
Yeah, if you were hanging out at Sprat's on the water in the late '90s, if you were at the Dublin pub, places like those, you would enjoy this freestyle.
Were you
music.
hanging out at Sprat's on the water?
I was not, because I was not
old enough.
I was old enough. I just wasn't wise enough.
Really?
No, I just wasn't
Sprat's
into freestyle.
on the water? Is that the one in Long Island?
Yeah, it was on Long Island.
Is it
Yeah,
Freeport or
I want to say not.
one of those?
Yeah, one of those. But on the water. So
on the water. So
yeah, but
definitely South Shore.
South Shore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Freestyle music. Well, you've broadened my horizon.
Yeah.
I'd never even heard of that.
Well, listen, you got.
What was I doing at that? I must have been such a nerd.
You were listening to world music. You just
that's
gave me
right.
that breakdown
I was
of like
that's right.
listen to cumbia
I
and
was listening to music, Nigerian music.
Exactly.
While you were at Sprat's, while the
I was slicking my hair back and talking to Italian girls.
All right. So there you have it. There's a lot
Quite a
to
week.
do. I am excited about it personally.
Absolutely. Oh,
And,
we should start teasing, right? The Taste of Queens. We already know the date.
Oh, okay.
All right, let's start getting it
Taste
out
of
there.
Queens is May 7th. That's the first Tuesday in May, which is always. It's going to be at New York Hall
New
of
York Hall of
Science. But it might be in a different part of
I was
New
going to
York
say,
Hall
have you
of
guys
Science.
decided yet? Because I
Well,
heard there's rumors.
It all depends.
There's rumors swirling.
There's a really cool spot at New York Hall of Science that actually has been under construction, and not many people know about it. It's got these tall blue walls.
Oh, is that the one that's in
But
the cylinder thing?
Yeah, and odd shaped walls, and I guess it really all comes down. The only problem is you can't fit that many tables in there.
All right, so we got to be careful.
So it depends on how many. I've already had 2 restaurants drop out that were last year. So,
Really?
Yeah.
They're missing out on a huge
Well,
opportunity.
In the case of Zenon Taverna, the owner is pregnant and she's due on May 17th. So I don't know if she should be serving food on May 7th. I don't know.
That's fair enough. We'll let that one go.
We'll let her go.
We'll let that one
She better
go.
be back next year, though.
That's right.
With her child serving.
In the baby seat.
She'll be practically a year then.
Put her in a high chair and let him fling mashed potatoes at somebody.
There you go. Anyway, thank you very much for consuming this podcast.
Tuning in.
And I hope to see you out in the borough this weekend. I'll certainly be around.
Yeah, remember, everything's on itsinqueens.com if you didn't get it right this time.
And thank you, Chris, for reminding me. Everything is on itsinqueens.com or follow us at hashtag It's in Queens.
What about Mr. Armstrong? Let us people know about that.
Louis Armstrong. We'll talk about that later.
Details to come.
Details to come.
Teaser.
Yeah.
Tune in next week.
Find out about Louis Armstrong. All right. Thank you.